Nobody saw this coming. Not Jay-Z, not Beyoncé, and certainly not anyone following the tabloids or the endless internet speculation. A court ruling just did what no diss track, no viral headline, no Instagram post ever could. It split Jay-Z's fortune in half. Yes, you heard that right. Half. The man at the center of it all is Rymir, who claims to be Jay-Z's son. For years, his story floated in whispers, in lawsuits dismissed as improbable, in rumors that most dismissed as tabloid fodder. But now, the court didn't just acknowledge his claim, it validated it. And it didn't do it with a small settlement or a symbolic gesture. This is real, tangible, on paper, legally binding. Rymir now has a claim to half of Jay-Z's entire fortune. And the shockwaves aren't limited to Jay-Z. Think about the empire they've built together, music catalogs that generate millions every year, real estate investments, fashion lines, luxury ventures. Everything Jay-Z touched, everything that was intertwined with Beyoncé's name and influence, is suddenly under scrutiny. The stakes are enormous. This isn't a story about a private family feud anymore. It's about a billion-dollar empire being pulled apart in plain sight. But here's the twist. The public only sees headlines and viral memes. What the world doesn't see are the conversations happening behind closed doors, the frantic calls to lawyers, the emergency meetings with financial strategists, the painstaking calculations to figure out what this means for everything from touring revenue to joint property holdings. The impact is immediate and staggering, and insiders warn this is just the start. Because while the world reacts with disbelief, the reality is far more complicated. This court ruling has opened a Pandora's box, and no one knows yet how many more surprises could emerge from Jay-Z's past. And trust me, this is only the beginning. Behind the glittering red carpets, the flashing cameras, and the flawless public image, something far darker is unfolding. Insiders say Beyoncé isn't just shocked, she's unraveling. Not with staged poses or calculated PR smiles, but with real heartbreak, real frustration, the kind that hits when the foundations of your life start crumbling unexpectedly. This isn't about a simple affair or a fleeting scandal. This is a legal ruling that threatens everything she has built with her own hands. The impact on Beyoncé goes far beyond the headlines. Parkwood Entertainment, Ivy Park, and countless joint ventures with Jay-Z, projects that took years of vision, blood, sweat, and meticulous planning, are now caught in the crossfire. Even the houses they've invested in, the royalties that fuel their musical dominance, are tangled in this unexpected legal storm. It's a mess that could take years to untangle, and insiders warn, some pieces of her empire might never be fully recoverable. Sources close to her reveal a side of Beyoncé the public rarely sees. A side that is private, vulnerable, and deeply strategic. She's reportedly meeting with legal teams, financial advisors, and business partners, trying to map out how to protect her legacy without creating further chaos. There are whispers that she's already drawing lines around her companies, creating protective barriers to ensure that, no matter what happens with Jay-Z, her name and her hard-earned work remain intact. But it's not just about money. This ruling forces her into a position no one expected, defending her family, her empire, and her very sense of control. Fans might see Beyoncé as untouchable, a symbol of perfection and poise, but sources say she feels trapped, blindsided by a past she had no way of controlling. And now, the rumors of divorce, which once seemed far-fetched, are circulating with a new intensity, fueled not by gossip, but by people who claim to be close to her inner circle. Every move she makes now is critical. Every decision has weight. Because in the world of global icons, perception is as powerful as reality, and Beyoncé knows that protecting her empire is about survival, not vengeance. The Queen may smile for the cameras, but behind closed doors, she's facing a storm the world has barely begun to understand. And just when you think it couldn't get any more complicated, the legal and financial ramifications are only just beginning to ripple outward. This isn't just a scandal the tabloids can sensationalize, it's a legal earthquake with consequences that hit far deeper than social media outrage. What's shocking to many is that the court didn't hand over a symbolic slice of Jay-Z's fortune. This was half. Half of everything: music royalties, joint companies, real estate holdings, touring revenue, legally tied to both Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And that's where reality and perception collide. To the public, it might look like a shocking story of family drama or celebrity betrayal. But for insiders, this is a financial and strategic nightmare. Untangling decades of shared business ventures isn't like splitting a simple bank account. Every asset, every contract, every deal they've touched together is now under scrutiny. And experts warn, even with the cleanest of separation strategies, the ripple effects could last for years. What makes this even more intense is how interwoven Jay-Z and Beyoncé's brands are. Ivy Park, Parkwood Entertainment, music catalogs, joint investments, they were designed to be inseparable, a symbol of power couple domination. Now, that very interconnection is a liability. Any move by Rymir could legally implicate Beyoncé's assets, forcing her into defensive maneuvers she never anticipated. And while fans argue online, debating whether this is karma or a misunderstanding, the reality behind closed doors is far more unsettling. Lawyers are digging through contracts, accountants are reviewing decades of financial records, and boardrooms that once revered Jay-Z's business acumen are now tense, cautious, and questioning every partnership. Stability doesn't thrive when billion-dollar empires are shaken by lawsuits and secret claims. Even more chilling, this court decision sets a precedent. If one claim is validated, what stops others from emerging? The legal system doesn't discriminate based on fame or influence, and the ripple effect could be catastrophic. Jay-Z's carefully curated control over his fortune, the image of an untouchable mogul, is now revealed to be far more fragile than anyone imagined. And just when it seems the financial stakes couldn't get any higher, the court's ruling forces both Jay-Z and Beyoncé to face a truth most fans would never imagine. Love, legacy, and loyalty don't protect you from legal reality. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. What comes next isn't just about money, it's about reputation, influence, and the very survival of a cultural dynasty. Jay-Z has always been seen as untouchable, a street-smart hustler turned billionaire mogul, a man whose every move screamed control and power. But now, that image is crumbling, and it's happening fast. The court ruling didn't just slice his fortune in half. It sent shockwaves through the business world. Deals are being paused, investors are nervous, and even longtime collaborators are hesitating, unwilling to risk their names tied to what's quickly becoming a reputation crisis. It's not just about money slipping away, it's about trust, perception, and stability. Every brand, every partnership that once thrived on Jay-Z's image of dominance is suddenly vulnerable. Corporate boardrooms that once applauded his decisions are now tense, lawyers advising clients to proceed with caution, and luxury brands watching closely. Any hint of scandal, especially involving secret children or hidden claims, sends the kind of alarm that no Grammy or billion-dollar deal can silence. And the storm doesn't stop there. Reports are now surfacing about additional allegations, some entirely unrelated to Rymir Satwait, but still tied to Jay-Z's public and private life. Rumors of past disputes and lawsuits are resurfacing, threatening to complicate matters even further. Even if these claims never hold up in court, the mere association shakes confidence. In business, perception often matters as much as reality, and right now, the perception is that the empire is shaky, unstable, and at risk. The ripple effect is immediate. Agencies are reconsidering contracts, streaming platforms are monitoring potential fallout, and investors are asking uncomfortable questions. Every single deal, every business venture is being viewed under a microscope. The careful balance Jay-Z worked decades to achieve is teetering on the edge, and insiders warn it could take years, or may never fully recover. Meanwhile, the media frenzy amplifies the tension. Headlines don't distinguish between verified facts and speculation. To the public, it looks like a personal scandal, but behind the scenes, it's a financial earthquake with consequences for some of the biggest names in music, fashion, and luxury business. And as the empire wobbles, one truth becomes clear: control, no matter how meticulously curated, can vanish in an instant. And just when you think it couldn't get any more intense, there's another side to this story, one that shows not just vulnerability, but strategic brilliance waiting to unfold. While the world watches Jay-Z's empire wobble, Beyoncé isn't standing still. Behind the scenes, she's quietly taking control, methodically protecting everything she has built. Sources say she's meeting with top financial strategists, restructuring assets, and putting protective walls around her companies. Ivy Park, Parkwood Entertainment, music rights, nothing is being left to chance. Every move is calculated, every decision precise. What's fascinating is how subtle, yet powerful, her strategy is. Unlike the chaos surrounding Jay-Z, Beyoncé is preparing in silence. She's not seeking headlines, she's not posting on social media, she's safeguarding her legacy. Property titles are being reassigned, contracts reassessed, and touring deals restructured, all with one goal in mind: to ensure her empire remains intact, no matter what unfolds in court. And make no mistake, this isn't just about protecting money. For Beyoncé, this is about independence, influence, and survival. She's making sure that if the tides of legal battles and public scrutiny continue to rise, she isn't dragged under. Every move she makes sends a signal. She will not be a passive observer in a storm she never agreed to fight. What's striking is the contrast between the two power players. Jay-Z, facing the fallout publicly and scrambling to contain damage, and Beyoncé, methodically shielding her empire from the chaos. This isn't about vengeance or spite, it's about foresight and control. The queen is quietly, but decisively, putting herself in a position where she can survive, thrive, and continue her influence, regardless of what happens with Jay-Z. And here's the cliffhanger. While Beyoncé is strategically protecting her empire, the world is left to wonder, is she preparing for a clean break, or is she playing the long game to protect their shared legacy? Amid the financial chaos and strategic maneuvers, the human story is just as gripping, if not more so. Beyoncé isn't just a mogul. She's a wife, a mother, and a woman grappling with betrayal and uncertainty. The court ruling doesn't just touch her bank accounts, it cuts straight into her heart. Sources close to her reveal that the emotional weight of this situation is immense. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a personal earthquake, shaking the foundation of her family and everything she's worked tirelessly to build. And the rumors? They're impossible to ignore. For years, whispers about Jay-Z's past and potential other children were dismissed as gossip. But now, with the court validating one claim, those whispers are starting to feel like warnings. People are talking about others who might come forward, emboldened by precedent. Names that were once written off as impossible are now being reconsidered in boardrooms and legal offices alike. Every unverified story now carries the potential to become a real threat. For Beyoncé, this is not just heartbreak, it's a test of resilience. Insiders say she's quietly moving assets, rethinking contracts, and even preparing contingencies for her children's futures. Her approach is calculated, almost surgical. She's protecting what she can, anticipating what might come next, and ensuring that her family and her legacy survive even if the worst-case scenarios unfold. Meanwhile, public speculation is running wild. Social media debates rage. Did Beyoncé know more than she's letting on? Is she planning an exit? Fans are split, some defending her, others questioning her choices. But the truth is, perception no longer belongs to her, it belongs to the world. And in the court of public opinion, every move, every decision, every silence is scrutinized. The stakes are higher than ever. Love, loyalty, legacy, and survival collide in a situation that feels larger than life. And while the court has made its ruling, the ripple effects are far from over. The drama isn't just in the headlines, it's happening in boardrooms, in legal offices, and in the private moments that the world will never fully see. And just when you think it couldn't get more intense, there's another twist looming, one that could redefine not just their personal lives, but the future of the Carter Empire itself. This isn't just a family dispute or a celebrity scandal. What's unfolding with Jay-Z and Beyoncé is a lesson in power, legacy, and the fragility of even the most untouchable empires. The court ruling didn't just hand Rymir Satwade a share of wealth, it exposed cracks in a dynasty that has long been seen as impenetrable. Music, fashion, real estate, tech ventures, everything they've built together is now vulnerable to scrutiny, speculation, and legal challenge. For Jay-Z, this is more than losing money, it's a reputational earthquake. Business partners are reassessing deals, luxury brands are hesitating to align, and every contract he signs is now under a microscope. The myth of the untouchable mogul is unraveling, piece by piece, in real time. Every hidden deal, every whispered secret, every past decision could be exposed, and the fallout could redefine how celebrity power is perceived in business and culture. And Beyoncé? She stands at a crossroads. The queen who once turned heartbreak into art is now turning strategy into survival. Every move she makes now could redefine her role, not just as Jay-Z's partner, but as a leader in her own right. The way she manages this crisis could set a precedent for how celebrity women protect their legacies, navigate betrayal, and assert independence in a world obsessed with both their image and their private lives. This story goes beyond drama. It's about the intersection of love, loyalty, and power. It's about what happens when past secrets collide with modern scrutiny, when public perception meets legal reality, and when personal stakes meet global attention. And as whispers of additional claims surface, as financial restructures continue, and as the empire they built together begins to wobble, one thing becomes clear. The outcome here won't just define their personal futures. It could influence the rules of celebrity culture for years to come. Fans are watching, the media is buzzing, and the industry is holding its breath. Every decision, every statement, every silence will be dissected, debated, and analyzed. And in the midst of it all, the question lingers: will Beyoncé protect her empire? Will Jay-Z regain control? Or will the Carter legacy be permanently reshaped by the revelations of the past? In the end, this isn't just about one court ruling. It's about the price of fame, the cost of secrets, and what it really takes to build and protect a legacy that the world can't ignore. And for viewers, one question remains: how far will the ripple effects go, and who will be left standing when the dust finally settles?